Why does your cat pad across your ribs at 2:13 a.m., pause on your sternum like a tiny mountain goat, and then march straight over your face as if you were a fallen log on a trail? Most people read that moment as an appeal for cuddles or a demand for breakfast. The truth is more layered, more ancient, and, if you handle it right, easier to reshape than you think. Nightwalking is rarely about attention in the way humans mean it. It's a braid of instinct, environment, routine, and the history you've unknowingly taught. Once you see each strand, you can loosen it without cutting the trust your cat has placed in you. Start with the first time it happened. You were half asleep. A soft paw crossed your shoulder, a whisker tickled your cheek. You moved, murmured, maybe reached up and stroked. You might even have swung your legs out of bed to check the water bowl, scoop a snack, or play escort to the litter box. In that foggy moment, you didn't just respond. You taught. For cats, attention is a powerful currency, and intermittent rewards are the most potent of all. If a behavior sometimes buys food, sometimes petting, sometimes your full amused wakefulness, the behavior becomes a slot machine worth pulling again. Even a small acknowledgement, your eyelids flickering, your body rolling so they can settle, can stamp the pattern as effective. Do it twice and you've written a rule. Step on the human, the world changes in your favor. Nothing about that is manipulative. It's simply good animal learning. The quickest way to change the rule is to stop paying the toll in the middle of the night and start paying it, in a better form, on your schedule. There's also a quieter reason your chest becomes a crosswalk. Cats keep their homes stitched together with scent. Every brush of cheek to table leg, every shoulder swipe along a doorway, every soft forehead bonk on your thigh lays down "this is us" chemistry. When the house goes still, that chemistry fades faster. Freshly laundered sheets, a rearranged nightstand, an open suitcase, or the smell of the street clinging to your coat shifts the familiar blend. Night is the easiest time to reweave it. When your cat passes over you and onto the duvet, they're not just choosing a path. They're refreshing the colony signature, picking up your scent, dropping some of theirs, keeping the map current. If the night walks spike after a laundry day, a furniture shuffle, or you coming home late from somewhere new, you're watching a living air freshener restore the mix it understands. Add the patrol instinct. Domestic cats sleep in houses, but their internal scheduler still ticks like a crepuscular hunter. When the neighborhood dims and the refrigerator hums louder than the world outside, they move through their territory on a loop that always makes sense to them. Doorway, window, high perch, water point, back again. Your bed is not a bed in that logic, it's a checkpoint. If your toes face the door, you might literally lie across their preferred route like a fallen branch spanning a stream. The most efficient thing is to cross you. They're not weighing your feelings about REM cycles. They're getting the job done. You can see the patrol clock shift with seasons and noises. Winter's long dark raises the patrol count. A neighbor's car door nudges the start time. A raccoon in the alley pulls your cat to the window earlier. Without knowing why, you feel pause when the clock and the street wind cue the same loop. Comfort is in the mix too, and it's subtler than "I want your warmth." Your body radiates heat in valleys and ridges under a blanket. You make soft, predictable micro-movements. You exert a gentle, steady pressure through the duvet that feels like a weighted blanket to a small animal. Cats will map a bed the way hikers memorize a trail. This fold of quilt is warmest. That dip between knees is safest. The slope by the hip is firm but forgiving. The walk across you may be a sequence of tiny stopovers on known islands of comfort. Change the blanket weight or fabric and you'll often see new pauses in new places, not because your cat has suddenly decided to be annoying, but because the microclimate changed and they're sampling the new topography for the best spots. Efficiency matters more than sentiment. Cats are brilliant straight-line thinkers. If a window ledge, a favored perch, and a water station make a triangle, your body is often one side of it. Crossing the middle of the bed is shorter than following the edge. Lifting their mass over your shoulder is easier than detouring down to the floor and back up the nightstand. Some will tiptoe to keep you from stirring. Others plant each paw like a hiker in snowshoes and distribute weight to stay balanced. Neither gait is about you. You're part of the landscape they've surveyed and optimized. Until you give them a better path, they will take the one they've proofed 100 times. You. Reshaping the route is kinder and faster than fighting the instinct. Think of your mattress like a map you can edit. If they typically step on your ribs en route to the window, lay a narrow fleece runner along the mattress edge from the foot of the bed to that sill. Make the runner just tacky enough underfoot to feel stable and just cozy enough to beat the duvet. If they cut over your hip to reach a high dresser, add a small, sturdy step or bench beside the bed, so the simplest move is bed, edge, right pointing arrow, step right pointing arrow dresser, not bed center, right pointing arrow, human right pointing arrow leap. A slim warming pad at the foot can become a natural pause that steals them away from your torso. If you want them to stop using you as a bridge entirely, give the bridge back to them in a better form. A window perch with wide, grippy footing and a shallow ramp, a shelf path that lets them cross the room above head level, a cube ottoman that lines up perfectly with the sill. Cats choose the path of least resistance if it's available every night. Your job is to make "not on me" the easiest choice. What you do in the first 2 minutes when paws appear matters more than what you mutter in hour 3. Decide on a single, calm line you can say in your sleep, "bedtime now," or "not tonight, buddy," and say it the same way every time. Don't reward the walk with food, play, chatter, or prolonged petting. Don't shove or startle. Gently shift your body to make the fleece lane available. Guide with the flat of your hand rather than grabbing. Usher them toward the path you made and go still. If they settle on the warm pad at your feet, you've just paid them with comfort on your terms instead of attention on theirs. Cats are exquisite pattern detectors. 2 minutes of sameness, repeated, recalibrates expectations. 2 minutes of new drama every night cements the habit like epoxy. You'll get farther, faster if you stop spending reinforcement in the middle of the night and invest it during the day. Build a predictably rich evening. A true hunt sequence with a wand toy that darts and hides, ending in a catch. A small, satisfying meal right after. A short grooming session, then quiet. That hunt-eat-groom-sleep arc is the ancient program their nervous system expects to run. If you run it for them at dusk, their body is more likely to downshift when you do. A timed feeder set for the hour your cat most reliably wakes. You will erase the link between walk on human and breakfast appears, without you playing short order cook. Daytime enrichment matters too. A view with a bird feeder, puzzle feeders that turn calories into tasks, vertical routes that make the house feel bigger, a box rotated in and out like a new cave. Tired brains sleep. If the behavior is new, intense, or coupled with other changes, assume body before behavior. Sudden nighttime restlessness can be a flag for pain, hyperthyroidism, hypertension, cognitive changes in seniors, even vision or hearing shifts that make the dark feel different. A cat who never stepped on you and now paces, vocalizes, or startles at shadows isn't being difficult. They're asking for help the only way they know how. A veterinary checkup to scan for medical drivers is not overkill, it's kindness. If health checks out, you still gain peace of mind and a baseline that makes future patterns clearer. Scent smoothing isn't just a cat chore, you can participate. After laundry or a trip that changed how you smell, offer your hand at the door and stand still while they re-register you. Keep a soft cloth with their scent, rubbed along their cheeks during a calm moment, and swipe the sheets lightly when you put them back on the bed. If you've introduced a new piece of furniture in the bedroom, park it where they can explore and mark it in daylight first, not at midnight while you're trying to sleep. You're not letting them take over the house, you're reducing the need for night shift maintenance. Do not punish the crossing. Startling, spraying, locking out, or tossing a cat from the bed addresses your frustration, not the function of the behavior. You might suppress the symptom for a night. You will teach your cat that your body is unpredictable and your bed is risky. Cats don't understand why the bridge became hostile. They just learn to avoid your closeness when it matters. Your best no is a better yes placed in the path they prefer. Consider the architecture from door to window. Many cats cross a sleeping human because the only practical routes from entry to view require it. A narrow bench along the footboard, a trunk at the window aligned with the mattress height, a step stool that turns a too big leap into 2 easy ones. These are small shifts with outsized effects. Think like a water engineer. Where will the current naturally go if you give it a channel? Then keep that channel free every night. One blocked route sends the current back over the riverbank, your rib cage. Be wary of the "just this once" spiral. You'll be tempted to feed at 4 a.m. on the day you're slammed at work, to play for 5 minutes when you can't fall back asleep, to scoop them up and tuck them like a teddy bear because it's cute. Every exception is a double lesson. Sometimes the slot machine pays wildly, and persistence is key. Extinguishing a behavior built on variable reinforcement often takes longer than you think, then stops suddenly as your cat realizes the world really is different now. Consistency is not coldness, it's clarity. If you share your bed with more than one cat, remember that traffic is social. One cat may cross you to avoid a hallway gauntlet. Another may plant themselves on your knees to guard a route. Multiple lanes, one along each mattress edge, two perches at different heights by the same window, distinct off-ramps to favored zones. Let cats choose without conflict at 3 a.m. The more choices that don't involve your torso, the fewer negotiations will draw pause across it. Soothing the night doesn't end when the lights go out. Your daytime emotional weather matters. Cats are barometers with fur. They pick up the rise and fall of stress in your voice and body. A household that sprints until bedtime and drops into darkness with no gentle runway often produces a cat who has to offload nervous energy on the only warm, steady thing available, you. 15 minutes of slow, predictable tidying, a dimmer switch on lamps, a ritual phrase when you head to bed, and a consistent breath as you settle are not woo. They're signals to a sensitive mammal that the herd is safe and still. If you want to be generous without sacrificing sleep, move generosity to times you can appreciate it. Create a morning greeting that feels rich. Open the blinds together. Sit on the floor for a 90-second head rub focused on cheeks and chin. Scatter a few crunchy treats on a scratching board so hunt pays off in daylight. Cats repeat what pays, especially when the payout comes at the same time each day. When dawn is always good and midnight is always boring, behavior drifts to the brighter shore. There will be nights when it doesn't go smoothly. You'll feel pause, you'll redirect, you'll hear the tiny sigh of feline disappointment. You'll want to break your own rule because you love this creature and the line of its back under your palm is the exact shape of comfort. Hold your course. Love does not vanish when it isn't rewarded at 2 a.m. It comes back in daylight with a heavier purr because your cat understands you're predictable, and predictability is the foundation of all the brave things they do around you. And under all the reasons, the learning history, the scent economy, the patrol route, the heat map, the geometry of efficiency, there's one that feels less like logic and more like a blessing. They step on you because you are the safest landmark in their territory. Not the empty floor, not the chair, not the shadowed corner of the room. The soft, breathing hill that never bites, never breaks, never fails. You are how they move through the dark without worrying they'll be swallowed by it. You don't have to accept every midnight crossing to be honored by that truth. You just have to change the path in a way that lets them keep what matters, belonging, while you keep what matters to you, sleep. If you try the bed lane, the quiet phrase, the dusk hunt, and the no tips at midnight, big tips at dawn rule, give it a week of boring consistency. Most cats will adapt in a handful of nights. Some take 2 weeks because they are persistent scientists and your previous experiments paid too well. Either way, you'll wake one morning and realize you slept through the hour that used to belong to pause. You'll stretch, they'll stretch. You'll meet at the window for the first blink of light, and the trust between you will feel thicker than your winter blanket. That's not a small win. That's a home learning to breathe at the same pace.